Hey everyone, welcome. I'm Eric. Look, the tech landscape for 2026, it feels a bit like an uncharted map, right? It's full of incredible opportunities, but also some pretty serious hidden dangers. So today, we're going to explore that map, and our guide is going to be Gartner's most critical strategic trends. Think of this less like a forecast and more like the essential gear you're going to need for the journey ahead.
This quote from Gartner's presentation just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? Geopolitical shifts, economic ups and downs, this absolute explosion of new tech, it has been chaotic. And getting through that chaos has required a whole new level of agility. And let me tell you, that is not changing as we head into 2026.
But here's the good news. You don't have to go it alone. Your success is going to depend on having three powerful companions by your side. Each one represents a core pillar of this new tech landscape. So, in this explainer, we're going to meet each one and really understand the essential tools they bring to your quest.
All right, first up, meet the architect. Think of this companion as the master builder, the one who lays the essential groundwork. We're talking about the platforms and the infrastructure you absolutely have to have in place to build a powerful, scalable AI strategy.
So, the first trend the architect brings us is AI native development. And what's so powerful about this is the shift in mindset. We're moving way beyond AI as just another tool. Here, AI becomes a real teammate, like a Jarvis from Iron Man, working side by side with your developers to co-create software. It's a fundamental change in how we think about building things.
So why does this matter so much for you? Well, first, it creates what Gartner calls supercharged tiny teams. Get this, imagine 5 small teams of 2, each paired with an AI, delivering 5 different projects. That's instead of one large team slogging away on one. This isn't just about being a little more efficient, it's about completely changing the game. A tiny startup can now potentially out-innovate a legacy giant.
So how do you actually put this into action? Okay, number 1, organize your teams around this new partnership model. 2, and this is critical, as you speed up development, you have got to build security and governance guardrails right in from the start. And 3, take a hard look at your backlog. Instead of just buying an off-the-shelf solution, ask yourself, could a tiny team build a custom app that truly sets our business apart?
Now, the architect's second tool is AI supercomputing. Forget the old way of managing compute power. This is like having a super smart GPS for all your AI workloads. It's a platform that intelligently routes every task to the absolute best environment based on cost, speed, or performance. And it hides all that crazy complexity from your developers.
The impact here is just massive. Acceleration across the board. In biotech, we're talking about modeling vaccines in weeks, not years. In finance, you can simulate incredibly complex risk portfolios. For energy, you can optimize power grids against extreme weather. The speed you can get to an insight is a true game changer.
Okay, your action plan here is pretty straightforward. First, you need to find your biggest AI compute traffic jams. Focus there for the biggest wins. Next, start exploring hybrid and modular infrastructures for your most critical use cases. And crucially, remember this is not autopilot. You have to build the skills to secure and govern these new platforms, or you're going to risk losing control completely. Okay, time for our second companion on this journey, the synthesist. So where the architect built that solid foundation, the synthesist is all about helping you assemble the actual AI applications and tools that are going to run on top of it. And first up from the synthesist is something called multi-agent systems. You know, the best way to think about this is like a Formula One pit crew. You don't have one person trying to do everything, right? You have a whole team of highly specialized experts, all perfectly orchestrated to get a complex job done flawlessly. That's a multi-agent system. Small, specialized AI agents working together, which drastically cuts down on errors and lets them handle incredibly complex workflows. Now this brings us to a really critical choice you have to make. What kind of AI model are you going to use? See, a general model is kind of like the Library of Congress. It knows a little bit about everything, from Taylor Swift to quantum physics. But a domain-specific model? That's like a specialized law library. It has deep, curated expertise in one single area, which makes it far more accurate and trustworthy for professional work. To really put that into perspective, think about this number, 50,000. That is how many clinical studies were published last year, alone. For humans to read and synthesize all of that would take 350 full-time employees. But a domain-specific AI that's trained just on medical research, it can do it in a tiny fraction of the time, unlocking just immense value. But listen, these powerful tools require new ways of working. You're going to need new roles, like context engineers, whose whole job is to constantly feed the model with up-to-date, relevant info. You'll also need ML specialists to watch out for something called catastrophic forgetting. And yeah, that's where a model literally forgets old critical information as it learns new things. And above all, you have to be totally transparent about what your model can and can't do.
The synthesist's final tool is physical AI. And here's a simple but really powerful way to think about it. If you could pick it up and throw it out the window, it's physical AI. We're talking robots, drones, even your Roomba. The huge challenge here is that the real world is messy and unpredictable, and these systems have to be designed to learn, adapt, and most importantly, fail safely within it.
And that brings us to our final, and maybe our most crucial companion, the Vanguard. The Vanguard's role is simple: protect your entire quest. This is all about security, trust, and governance, in an age where AI is absolutely everywhere.
The core idea that the Vanguard brings to the table is a massive paradigm shift in cybersecurity. We are moving away from just reacting to attacks after they've already happened. The new mantra is prediction is protection. Think less about cleaning up after a fire and more about preventing that fire from ever starting in the first place.
And this slide right here shows you exactly why that shift is so urgent. Right now, nearly 80% of cybersecurity tools are reactive. They only kick in after the damage is already being done. In a world where attackers are also using AI to find weak spots, that old model is just not sustainable anymore. We have to flip that ratio.
So what does this new playbook actually look like? Well, first, your AI-powered security team predicts likely attacks based on intelligence. Then, it can automatically deceive and lure those attackers into digital traps or honeypots. This lets you study what they're doing and contain the threat long before it ever gets to your critical systems. It's all about anticipating, denying, and disrupting.
So, we've met our three companions: the architect who builds the foundation, the synthesist who assembles the toolkit, and the Vanguard who protects the quest. Now, let's bring it all together and boil it down to the key takeaways for your journey ahead.
So here it is, your essential toolkit. First, from the architect, treat AI as a collaborative teammate and optimize your compute infrastructure like a smart GPS. Next, from the synthesist, build with small, modular agents and prioritize those specialized, domain-specific models for your most important work. And finally, from the Vanguard, shift your entire security posture from just reacting to being preemptive.
You've met the companions. You've seen the tools that they offer. So the final and most critical question is really for you. Is your organization truly ready to begin this journey? Are you prepared to build a foundation, assemble the right toolkit, and protect the quest?
If this explainer helped you chart your course for the road ahead, please take just a moment to like, subscribe, and share it with others who are on this journey with you. Thanks so much for watching.